so far I like it. Like it's just they could have really given me anything, and I think at the beginning, like the first episode, second episode, just like kind of diving back into the world of Willow, I think I would have been satisfied with.
If it's just a picture of Willow for an hour and 45 minutes, you'd be like, this is the best.
Just Warwick Davis dancing around.
Yes.
Good enough.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I enjoyed being thrown back into the world. You know, like you said, it's great to see Warwick Davis again. It's great to see Joanne Whalley playing Saoirse again.
Very excited that she's back.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's cool. You know, and I feel like from watching the trailers, I like the kind of like the sense of wonder that the movie gave me when I was a kid. I felt like the trailer captured it really well, which is what made me very excited to watch the show. But now, like, as I was watching the show, I had to kind of, like, keep reminding myself, like, it's the first episode, it's the second episode.
Right.
Because there was, like, you know, it's not like we dove headfirst into this fantastic adventure. You know, they established a lot of things. Some stuff I wasn't really too crazy about. Mainly, I think it's the dialogue. Because I feel like, you know, the main characters that they're introducing you to are younger characters. They're, you know, like they're teenagers. They're kind of whiny, and again, like I keep reminding myself, it's episode 1. They're going to grow up as time goes on, and as they go through this adventure, it's going to be, you know, it's they're going to grow up, and they're going to develop as characters. The other thing too that kind of caught me off guard is that Willow is like visually, I'm going to say like a very like grimy movie, you know, like you're in the village, it's dirty, it's real, you know, and this is very much like the colors are brighter, everyone's clean, the hair is perfect, the makeup is great, everyone looks very, very pretty, you know.
True.
So that was kind of jarring. I feel like it's not really like a gritty movie the way Willow was, but it's kind of like a more, let's say, fantastical movie, you know. So I think the more we get into it and like remembering scenes, remembering things that I saw from the trailer and waiting until we get there, like, you know, there's a lot of what seemed like scenes underground in catacombs, and they're fighting these big orc-like characters. So like as I experienced these things that were kind of a little bit different than what I was expecting, I just had to kind of say like, okay, this is fine for now. We're going to get to the good stuff in a little while.
So I liked it. Overall, I thought it was great. I thought they got into it pretty fast. I was like, oh, we're right on this adventure. And then I noticed a couple of things. Overall, I like it. I'm on board.
Yep.
Now I'm going to nitpick. Okay, so don't take my nitpicking as I didn't like it, because I did. Then they said the word fellowship snuck its way in.
Really?
Oh,
I didn't even notice that.
You heard that?
Well, I have a lot to say on all that.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
Go ahead.
And so I was like, oh, fellowship, because it did feel like a fellowship. It's like, who's gonna go? And he said they walk over to somebody. I go, okay, Lord of the Rings, but I'm fine with it. I like Lord of the Rings. Go ahead, do it. And then I noticed that I'm a musician. Scrub's a musician as well. I'm a songwriter, a producer, so I do pay attention to the music a lot of times. And I noticed there's a lot of Lord of the Rings happening, and they're swelling the same way Lord of the Rings comes, and that's after hearing the fellowship word. And I'm just like, okay, they're really trying to get those vibes. And sometimes the shots feel a little Lord of the Rings.
Oh yes.
The music is feeling Lord of the Rings, you know, and it seems like they're trying to capture that vibe, and fine, but it's like okay, well, do your own thing though, because there is a color tone that they use to the show that they're trying to do like it was in the actual original movie, and that's good too, because there are things that feel the same. But it's just like they are trying to do that. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. I was like, I'm happy, but I'm also like, okay, do your own thing. The other thing was, I don't like how they're ragging on what's his name, on Warwick Davis the whole time, on Willow. I feel like Willow is just getting like the whole thing, you know, like they're coming down on him, saying that like, you're not a great sorcerer.
Yeah. From
Scotia, she's saying that, and so I just feel like that's what bothering me. I get it, but it's kind of bothering me. What do you have to say?
Well, I think as far as that goes, I think that they're kind of leaving a little room for him to grow. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I look at this like a fantasy show, movie, Okay, the movie's fantasy movie. Obviously, it's fantasy as well. This show. I definitely see what you're saying about sort of the difference as far as the sort of the grittiness of the original movie compared to this show. And yes, it's definitely to me, when I see it, it's an updated, modern, very sleek looking, well produced show.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it so far. I like it a lot. But I've always kind of felt like Willow is kind of, like you kind of said, it's a little bit Lord of the Rings. It's a bit sort of Lucasfilm's version of that in a way. It's here we go on a quest and there's magic and there's all very typical D&D, Lord of the Rings kind of stuff. What I think it has going for it is the differences in characters. I really feel like, it makes me think of Star Wars a lot, of course, the show and even the movie and stuff like that. But it's so different because, like here we are going on this adventure. Here we go again, the Fellowship. And I feel like that's totally, there's a lot of references in the show. I actually think that it almost feels like more of a melting pot to me of outside references and things.
Yes.
Like the scene where she's trying to pronounce the spell, okay, which kind of goes on a little bit, but that whole scene is like directly lifted out of other movies and stuff that I've seen before, okay? So there's a lot of that in the movie where it's like, oh, this is just like that, and this is just like that, and this is cut from here and there, and there's a lot of, to me, there's a lot of like little things, references, all kinds of stuff coming from other places. And I'm kind of okay with that because I feel like they're self-aware, and that's where the Fellowship line kind of comes to me, like that, it hit home to me in that way, like
you like that they said it.
They're kind of a little self-aware that like what they're doing is very similar to many other things.
So let's say it and get it over with.
Right, and it's kind of like, here we go, Fellowship, okay, and it's a little like they're kind of poking you in that direction a little, and I think that, again, the show feels like kind of self-aware in that way.
Yeah.
That, yes, this is very similar to other fantasy stories and things like that, but I think that the characters are different. I look at Willow, and you see Willow in the second episode especially, he's a terrible teacher. That's like one of the main things you find out. He's a terrible teacher. And, of course, myself as a teacher, this is something I pick up on right away. Here's a guy I see. He's a really smart, intelligent character. His intelligence will probably be way up.
Doesn't make you a good teacher because you're good at something.
His skill of teaching is terrible. He's a really smart guy, but he doesn't know how to teach at all. And here he is. He's got this amazing student. This student is actually, she's amazing. She wants to learn, okay? Like, you could see, like, she's trying. That's unbelievable. That's more rare than a bad teacher in a way. It's having a student that's like so like passionate, so into. She's trying so hard. She really wants to do it, which is great. But again, it's different. You look at Luke and Obi-Wan. It's not like that. Obi-Wan's a great teacher, one of the better ones in the Star Wars universe, in my opinion. Maybe Yoda's better, but a lot, Anyway,
it's a story for another time.
Another story. But Luke is less of like a sort of enthusiastic student. He tries, yeah. He's less enthusiastic, I would say. Maybe not quite as good of a student. Look, Yoda tells him, "Don't leave. We got to finish your training," and he runs away.
That's a typical student.
Small
like,
example, right?
And in music, it'd be when the kid learns how to play a song.
Right.
He's like,
my
"Oh,
song,
I'm done.
I'm out of here.
I'm done."
I got it." Yeah, that kind of a thing. So different characters to me, and that's what's keeping me excited and interested in the show, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
So would you guys say that, like, you haven't seen it yet, obviously, but so would you say that it seems like they got all, perhaps like the worst case scenario to me would be they got a lot of people that are in, like, they love Willow, they want to be a part of it, and they're lovers of Lord of the Rings and everything that that we can think of throughout the years.
They got to know it's a similar audience.
And perhaps someone at the top is not squashing that, or is not saying we need to have our own identity. They must have. They're not aware, which I don't believe that's the case, right? But either they're not aware, or they're just saying let it be a mix of everything we love. Because Willow's about just like going on an adventure. Let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they shouldn't do that, because I feel like they should, kind of like what you say all the time, they should give more respect to Willow. Like, I don't care if you feel like it's like this show. There's a lot of shows you could say it's like.
Sure.
Give it its own identity because it's got it. It's there. And for me, the only thing that it has at its own, besides the characters, is the Skull Reavers, and the color tone. The color tone is unique, and I feel like I'm watching Willow. I could tell by the greens, the color, the greens, specifically. It feels like Willow. So, like, why not go all the way? Why not take out? I don't need the Lord of the Rings. You don't need to do that. Fine that it's there, but you didn't have to do that.
Now that you mention it, and because like I'm trying to stay in the mindset of like this is only the first episode, this is only the second episode. Like now that you mention it, now that I'm thinking about it, like maybe they're just doing that because like let's face it, Willow was never like a very popular franchise. When we're talking about Lord of the Rings, we're talking about Star Wars. Willow is kind of like a movie that came out in whatever it was,
It's like a
1988.
standalone thing.
1988.
Yeah, so like it was never like a huge franchise where like we saw TV shows and like a hell of a lot of merchandise, anything like that.
It's not video games and all the
Yeah,
other things.
so to a certain extent, I feel like when this show comes out, it's almost like they have to reintroduce the characters and reintroduce the story to a new audience.
Right.
So in that first episode, if they kind of throw out there like, hey, Fellowship, wink, like if you like this kind of stuff,
Right.
you're going to enjoy this show.
Right.
And then as the show goes on, I think maybe, hopefully, it'll carve out its own identity.
And maybe that's the problem. They feel like they're like starting underneath a rock. They feel like because people like don't really know Willow, and that's probably what the meeting was. Where they had that first meeting, the pre-production. Like a lot of people don't really know Willow. They need to know. There's a whole new audience that doesn't know what they are. So we need to maybe latch on to these things they can hold on to. But like you don't. I don't know.
Yeah, or just
maybe
watch
that's
the movie
maybe that's
before
smart.
You watch the show. I mean,
Maybe only we care, we notice these things, but maybe
Yeah.
a kid watching it at 12 years old is not going to say, like, the color tone is green. Like, he has no idea. Who cares? Who cares about that stuff? No one cares about that stuff. So maybe they did the right thing. Maybe that's perfect, and I'm just noticing these things.
I'm sure that that the people at Disney have people overseeing every single step of the production. There's a
Exactly.
reason for everything they're doing. And of
Exactly.
course, they're there to make money, and why not cash in on the Lord of the Rings thing? It was
Right. Say the word
hugely successful
fellowship.
franchise. They'd be, you might look at it as they'd be fools not to try to cash in on every opportunity they have to reintegrate an audience or create a new audience for this product. So I'm looking forward to watching it. So, it sounds like you guys are all at least entertained by it. So
No, I loved it.
I'm very
Yeah,
much.
I loved
liked
it.
a lot.
I enjoy it, yeah. And like a lot of the things that are kind of like making me step back and say like, wait a second. Like, like you said, how they treated the character of Willow in the first two episodes was very jarring.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't like it, but see, I'm of two minds about it. Like, when Willow himself is acting as let's say, a teacher and a sorcerer, like, it almost seems like he's not taking it very seriously. Like, he's very, very jokey, when he's telling Alora Dana, like, why are you saying it like that? What are you doing with your face? Why are you doing that? It's like, you're teaching her how to be a sorcerer. You know, it's like you're looking for a Yoda, but like you're getting
Well,
a
that's just
comedian.
it. I
you
feel
know?
like
I kinda
his
like that part
teaching
because
skill is like,
I felt like
and that's gonna obviously change. I think.
I felt like with the loss of Man Mardigan, they felt like they were losing some things. I think they're trying to play up the fun and bring it back in, and I didn't mind that. That didn't bother me. When Scorsha, say the name right?
Sorsha.
When the plot line was revealed, that Sorsha was kind of like, "You're not a great wizard." I was like, "Okay, that makes sense." I don't like that you went there, but like, come on.
It does.
Like,
It makes sense, especially from her point of view.
yeah, like everything she says is right.
Then and no.
But let me finish.
Okay.
So that's fine. And then with the next scene attached to that, which I won't say that one, I just didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. It really, really bothered me, actually.
Yeah.
And it hurt my heart. It bothered me. And then, coupled with the scene when he's the head wizard, I forget the name of that.
High Aldwin.
High Aldwin. When he's a High Aldwin, he seems like he doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Yes.
that's it's one thing to have him treat them that way, but it's the one thing
Right.
when you see him like in his strongest position, he seems uncomfortable.
He does. He seems to be like this is the first time he's doing it.
Right. So like, what's going on?
Like the finger test. Like he's not actually giving her the finger test. He's like trying to give her the answer.
Right.
He's trying to make it seem like, oh, this is so obvious, and even too, like it confused me as far as like, why everyone in the crowd
Knows the
was
answer.
in on the answer too.
Yeah.
Like
well, because
it's
they've
so
seen
strange.
it so many times
So that
now.
everyone
did.
knows their
I
finger
understand.
test. How could you keep giving it now?
Yes,
Because you can only
right.
give it to people who haven't been there, and all the people in that room have seen it enough
Right.
times already.
When
that
everyone's
it was
like-
odd. She's the only.
Yes.
She was the only
Odd.
one there that hadn't seen it already.
So defer to you. Why as High Aldwin, why is he not confident or sure of himself in that role?
I don't know. That's one of the things that kind of put me off too. But I will say this: the scenes with Saoirse, they were kind of off-putting too, because she just seemed like flat out mean to Willow.
Yes.
But I do believe this: taking the two flashback scenes in conjunction with one another, I think the only reason she acted that way toward Willow is because she just wants to shelter Elora. She
Oh,
just wants to
yeah.
keep her in Tirasleen
Right.
behind the barrier, and she doesn't see Willow teaching her magic or sorcery as a way to like nurture her and protect her. She sees it as a danger, because I think Saoirse's playing the role of like
She's worried. She's
I
scared.
agree.
She's
she's
fearful.
scared, and she's like, from the old guard. She's stuck in her ways, and if we introduce magic, magic is going to be the wild card that's going to introduce evil back into Tirasleen again. So let's just keep her here. Don't let her know who she is. Don't let her know where she comes from. Don't let any magic in. And Willow is just like collateral damage. So now she turns around and says, if I have to tell Willow that he's not a good sorcerer to get him out of here and to get magic and sorcery away from Elora,
Yeah.
then that's what I'm going to have to do.
I just that second scene, when she was like, what are you trying to do? It just really bothered me. Just really bothered me.
It did.
I liked it.
I mean, it
don't
was
know.
good as a scene. The great acting was great, and that's not what I'm talking about. It just bothered me. I just can't help it.
How old is Elora in the show?
18.
Maybe
Oh,
like
so it's-
16,
Maybe
15,
older
16,
than that.
I would think.
You know what?
Oh, that's
They-
it?
older?
Really?
They probably said the exact.
guessed-
I'm guessing by the way
guessed
she
like
looks.
No
16,
idea.
Yeah.
So it's not set like in actually like 30 years after the events of the first
No.
of the movie, like it really like in real time.
It can't
No.
be 30 years.
No.
Or
She's
34
she's
years.
I'm sure
still
somebody
younger.
somebody probably knows when they saw her. They said how many years it was. I'm sure, but yeah, she's young.
Okay, like a teenage or
She's
young woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she
more than
coming-
25,
come-
right?
or older, or 16
25 or
16 and
younger?
older.
Well, I figured
I
if
don't know.
she's if he's trying to teach her magic, I mean, I don't imagine he's going to take a 34-year-old girl and be like, hey, let me teach you some magic now.
That's
you know?
actually- that's
Now's
actually
a
a
good
part of
time
the
to
plot line.
start. You know.
Yeah, well, that's part of the issue a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I'm excited doing the show. Very happy for Dan. When I watched it, I'm like, I literally, one of my thoughts is like, I'm so happy for Dan. He's getting Willow.
I mean, I thought like some like really good stuff that I enjoyed. Like I thought the bad guys looked awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
Who attacked the town. I
Yep.
thought there was
Yeah,
some
yeah,
really
that
cool
was some
designs,
really
really
good
creepy
stuff
stuff.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
yep.
I liked it. I liked explaining where the Skull Reavers were. That kind of just I found I knew where they were geographically made like more sense to me. Because in the first one, I guess that guy's a Skull Reaver, the bad guy, the big.
That guy's awesome.
General Kale.
I love that guy. Was that?
Oh,
General
Kale.
Kale.
I just
Yeah.
like him. He's just like so
Super-
tall and big
so
and
visually impressive character.
Yes, he's visually impressive.
And you know he's huge. I was expecting him to kill Mad Mardigan the whole movie. I was terrified of that because I love Mad
Yes,
Mardigan as a
he's
kid.
fantastic, and I felt like that the guy, one of the guys, in the guy that goes on the adventure with them. I won't say what happens.
In the movie or in the show?
No, in the show, in the TV show, in episode 2, he reminds me he's one of the commanders, and he reminds me of like that guy's like physical appearance. I feel like they're trying to do similarities a little bit, you know. So anyway, that's just the little things I'm
The
noticing.
big guy, one of the big bad guys that attacks the town, who has the cage over his head.
Oh,
You know who
that was.
is? That's played by the guy who's playing Chewbacca now. The current.
Oh, really?
current
yeah?
Yeah, his name escapes me at the moment, but the current actor that plays Chewbacca in like the newer sequels and stuff, he was on the show as that bad guy creature
Oh, yeah.
monster.
I thought that was
character,
awesome
which
because
is awesome. It was a good
I was
character.
thinking about it, and I was like, "That's." I'm like, "Why is he wearing that?" I was like, "Oh, I guess it does work as armor. It's great. It's like so sadistic, but it's
Great.
fantastic."
It's cool.
Any opinions on Mad Mardigan? If we're going to find out about him, what we're going to find out about him?
I think that we're gonna find something out because I mean they've been talking about him already, and there's this sort of mystery as to like where he went and is he still there and what's he been doing this whole time. And so I think, we got to find out
I would
something.
imagine it's got to be addressed.
And maybe
He's
even the brother,
popular
too.
character.
Willow's other son, Willow's son's whereabouts.
Yeah.
We need to find out.
Yeah, Kaya and Rannon. They're both
Yeah.
gone. Yeah.
What is it?
Rannon.
Rannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, well, the sister's there. The daughter was there.
Mims is there, yeah,
Mims,
who's
right.
actually
the
played
wife is missing, right?
Kaya,
Yes.
yeah.
Kaya, right.
They mentioned too at some point, like obviously.
She mentions the brother I know in
Right.
that scene. There's one scene there.
And obviously now the Nelwyns are like, they've kind of gone underground and they kind of hinted that something terrible
Right.
happened to the village. So
Right.
just kind of assumed that they met a very terrible end. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they'll get into that. But yeah, and
Yeah.
actually Mims is played by Warwick Davis's daughter
Oh,
in real life. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean,
I was actually wondering if they got the same actress as the little kid from
I-
the movie.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
is that the same actress? But okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I know, Val Kilmer is in poor health these days. Is that right?
Right.
Very
Yeah.
bad, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I think
actually just checked while you guys were talking to see if he was alive or not.
He's
because
alive. He can't speak, I don't think.
Right.
So, or was
Some-
it a trach or something?
Right, and something confused me. Something had me confused right now because I was like, why do I feel like he might have died? And
Well, he
'cause
did,
he dies on a show,
Oh.
in a movie.
dies in a lot of movies.
Right. Well, I mean, recently he died in a movie, and I was like, and now that stuck with me, and I'm like, wait, did he die in real life? Because it's real.
Right.
So they actually in Maverick they actually did AI speech for him.
I heard that.
Really?
Yeah, and it was really good. I couldn't tell. I didn't know. But although his voice has changed because it's hoarse, so you have to imagine what it sounds like. So, but it was still done very well.
That's what, yeah, like, I don't want to get my hopes up, but, like, that's the feeling I'm getting from this. Like, I
He
feel
always
like,
have to be a character who has his voice compromised.
or just kind of like,
They could just
the
do
end
that
of
for him.
life.
Have somebody do
Yeah.
it. Because
Yeah.
they overdub audio all the time. Man. That's a very common
Yeah.
thing. Why not let somebody overdub it? That could be done if he wants to do the physical roles, but I don't think he can.
yeah, like, the vibes I'm getting from this of, like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but, like, back when The Office was, like, we're leading up to The Office finale, and everyone kept saying, like, no, Steve Carell's not going to be on. Steve Carell's not going to be on. And I was like,
They find a way to just
I just think he's going to be on. And everyone I spoke to was like, no, they said he's not going to be on. I was like, I think he's going to be on. I just get the feeling that he's going to be on it. And he was
Yeah.
on it. And that's what I get with Val. Like, I know it's very, like, improbable and probably even, like, impractical for him to make an appearance on the show. But I just get the vibe that somehow, like,
it'll be done.
they're going to get him in there.
I feel like he's so. I feel like you can't state how good he is in Willow.
That's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that's
He literally is
Huge.
carrying the movie. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
you know,
time.
not that the movie needs to be carrying on the way, but he does so much.
Steals the
Yep.
movie.
He
Steals
Yes.
the show.
Yeah.
He does so much in the movie. He's so effective, and you love it. I think because of him. It's just
Absolutely.
yeah.
it's just him. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it is hard to lose him, and I mean that's again Disney probably had to contend with the fact of him not being there, and they want to keep the element that he brought into it. And how do we do that? Which it has its own feel, but it is in there. I feel Willow. I feel
Yeah.
the movie.
And I'm looking forward though to, like, especially the scene where the mousy Graydon, the prince, when he the scene from the trailer where, like, he
That's
puts his
Flash
head-
from Spider-Man, right?
Oh,
Is
it?
it?
I don't know.
I thought it was
I
for
don't
the
know.
new
I don't
Spider-Man,
know.
obviously.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was him. It seems like him. Could be him.
Yeah, seems like him.
Someone let me know
Right.
if that's him. If anybody recognized him.
But yeah, the scene from the trailer
Oh,
where
yeah,
he puts
the
his
guy, the prince guy. Is that who you're talking about?
yeah.
The
Oh,
prince,
no.
Like
right?
a mousy prince. You know?
Kirstie Alley just died
Oh no.
Yeah, my wife texted me earlier. Yeah.
Aw.
today.
Ah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Just an hour ago or so. Right before
Oh
we went on.
no.
I was looking at my phone when the.
Oh,
Wow.
we wish her family and friends well. That's a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's very funny, very talented actress.
What were we just saying?
Oh,
About,
I was saying the scene from the trailer where, like, he puts his head toward the water and that creature comes up
Okay.
to like kind of go face to face with him. Like, that kind of, like, put the trailer on a different level for me, you know? Because it's like, I feel like that's where the show will kind of, like, take on a fresh identity from the movie. Because when you look at I mean, what are we thinking about creatures in the movie? We think about the trolls, and we think about the two-headed dragon from the battle at Tir Asleen. And this,
Right.
with this, like, this is a very, let's say, Disney-looking creature, you know. But I feel like it fits very nicely into the world of Willow.
Right.
So it's like when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I feel like that's really where like the show is going to carve its own identity from the movie. So like that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking forward to.
Right. Charles Morrison just confirmed. Yes, that's Flash from Spider-Man. Yeah.
It is. Cool.
Yeah, and it's a very different character for him. Very
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, which is good for an actor. You want to play both sides of something. So that's cool.
He's gonna be the teacher. He's like the best. He's the best educated one out of.
I think he's going to learn magic.
He's
That's what it seemed like.
It seems like he's
probably
the
the best educated one. So
yeah, and like he's the only character right now I think in that group who hasn't really acted like a flat out jerk at some point. You know?
yeah.
No, he hasn't. Yeah.
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 Like
Yeah.
even though he kind of has like this pushover quality to him, like he reaches
Well.
out to like he's polite
He's had
to
a lot of
Allura and
education. You can tell
supportive.
that's like how they're setting it up. I think like where he's
Right.
You know, like
he
kinda
should
very well
he should be a
educated.
wizard. Like that's
Yeah,
what it seems
he
like.
could be.
Maybe.
You already read the stuff and
Right.
everything. You know.
You read
know.
the stuff. That's a
Well,
qualification.
nobody else could read the words on that they came across.
Yeah,
Funny.
like everyone else is very sarcastic, quippy, and joking around. But he seems to be the most sincere character.
He's a straight
so
man.
far. Yeah.
So let's talk about. We have a lot of things on our list today. Let's switch topics. Let's go over to the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Oh boy.
What is everybody thinking about it? Damien, what do you think?
I saw the trailer. I liked it, even though I'm not crazy about trailers in general, and I avoid them a lot of times. I think I don't like trailers, but I've been excited to see that movie. I'm still want to see the movie after watching the trailer, but it looks good. I don't know. I think we might see some changing of the Guardians in this movie. I feel
Did
like.
you see that whole theory that's going around
No.
about the title?
Oh, what is the title again?
So not the actual title per se, but the coloring used in the title for Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3.
Oh, interesting.
And they're saying that if you correlate the color that you see in each one, it shows you who dies.
Oh.
So in the first one, Groot dies, and the colors of it, I think, were like like the brownish and green. And then the second one, it's bluish.
Yondu.
Yeah, for Yondu.
Oh, and now
so-
we know.
So now they're saying this one seems to be the colors that somebody was saying seems like Rocket Raccoon.
Well, the trailer really makes it
And yeah,
look like that character's
And it-
going. Not
yes.
for nothing. Like the trailer. I mean, again, I don't watch a lot of trailers, but that trailer made me think, well, that's the end of that character.
yeah, it does seem like.
So, but maybe maybe it's too obvious. Or I don't know. Like I almost feel like that might be like a misdirection.
They probably saw this. They're like, damn it, we got to put
But
it back in.
probably not because trailers are usually I don't know.
I feel like
bad. I don't like trailers.
I feel like
This is
trailers,
why.
for me, trailers have gotten better over the years. I feel like back in the day, I was able to tell you the whole movie, if it was really good or really bad, by the trailer.
Yeah.
And then somewhere about 10, 12 years ago, I was like, okay, I thought it was going to be okay. It was great or whatever, and I can't tell anymore. But there was a time.
good that you
I remember,
can't tell.
I remember Dan went to see, me and Dan were roommates a long time ago, and Dan, I'm sitting watching TV. Dan comes over, and he goes, I'm going to see the movie, what's the movie, The Happening?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
The Happening, where nothing happens in the movie, and you say, "Go see Happening." I was like, really? I go, why are you gonna go see it? He's like, I think it looks terrible. And he's like, no, it looks great. It's and my show on it. I was like, I feel like I've seen the trailer, and I feel like it looks like garbage. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, well, I hope it's not. Good luck. And he went. He came back, and he's like, it was terrible.
That is,
Oh.
yeah.
I was with you on that 100%. The trailer looked awful. It looked like Mark Wahlberg was intentionally acting poorly.
Hey guys, what's
And
this? What's
the
happening
movie,
here, guys?
That's exactly what was happening. So,
Wait,
yeah.
you're telling me that like people like throwing themselves under lawnmowers and stuff? Like you don't want to know what's going on there?
Well,
Nope.
there's a couple opening scenes of that movie. Some of them are fantastic, and
Yeah.
in the volume and the insane, horrible things that people are doing themselves. But that's it. It's like a one-trick pony. It's a
Yeah,
terrible
it
movie. I
was.
mean, you agree to that at
I mean,
least.
don't get me wrong. It's not like we actually found out what was happening to
Yeah.
make people, or like we got the thinnest, tiniest shred of a storyline to fill all that stuff in.
The other
But,
one,
they hooked me.
the other one during that time was, and I think people might not agree with me here, was Cloverfield. I still haven't seen it. I saw the trailer, and I thought it looked terrible. And now I'm like, I feel like I have no desire, no need to see Cloverfield ever.
Cloverfield.
Lou's like, good job.
With you again, on the
it
money,
wasn't
everything you
great.
said.
Wasn't a
Me
great
and Lou
movie.
can hang in the movies anytime.
We
Cloverfield.
cannot go to the movies anytime.
My memory of Cloverfield is like the one thing in movies and TV shows was introduced by Cloverfield that I absolutely hate, that like ruins watching TV
What?
and going to the movies. The shaky camera.
Oh,
So,
shaky
like, It's like I listen. I understand. Whoever's making movies out there, listen. When I go to the movies, I understand that I'm sitting in a chair and I'm watching the movie on a screen. Like I don't need to feel like I'm in the middle of the action in order to come to like a greater sense of entertainment to enjoy a movie. I'm fine with being able to see everything in like a bit of a wider, steady shot rather than being close up and like shaky.
So do you like
Does
Modern
nothing for me.
Family?
Huh?
Do you like Modern Family?
The TV show?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. It's okay.
Modern Family is like
Do they do that?
zoom out, zip with
Oh,
you.
see, but like
When you
for-
first
for
watch
the
it, I'm like,
sake of-
what's happening?
But it's very steady. He doesn't like when it's shaking.
It's super steady.
Sometimes you need that handheld though. You know, like sometimes you need the handheld shot. Look at a movie like Blair Witch Project. Okay, I think that's a pretty good movie. Okay, but it wouldn't work at all if it didn't feel like this.
Okay.
Because like it's supposed to be,
Well,
camcorder footage.
When
you know.
originally you went to see it thinking it was an actual documentary like I did, I was really on the fence about
Yeah,
that movie.
yeah.
That was one of the most brilliantly marketed
It was.
movies
Which
in
one?
the history of movies,
The
Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
You
they had
feel like it-
websites
was
designed to
well
it. This
done.
whole mythology was there, and you
Right.
thought that these kids really went missing.
it was
These are a
right.
bunch of
It
no-name
was, it was
actors.
enough to make you think that is this real or not?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And then it worked, and they made so much money off of spending nothing. It was incredible.
Unbelievable, and it
Yeah.
really, I
Awesome.
mean, not nothing about the movie is particularly outstanding. But
No,
the way they
it's a lot of
marketed it
nothing. You're
and
just
stuff
waiting.
was like unbelievable, and I
Yep.
can't
Yeah.
ever think about it without thinking of Sherry O'Terry with the CGI boogers and Scary Movie.
Oh.
They parody it because that's spot on.
But like I agree that like when it's used in a situation like that, it can be effective. But like when it's just action, like I want to see the action that's taking place, that's happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there was a movie I
That's
can't remember the name
Cloverfield.
of it.
Cloverfield's like all this and like, oh, there's a little something.
Right. So they do. It's a lot of stuff. Like, it's a piece of something.
What's
Oh!
They very and I feel like the money shot for like the way they built it up and gradually revealed it. I feel like the money shot wasn't like nearly
Yeah, it
as,
wasn't
as
that
big a
great.
payoff as
Yeah.
it should have been.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
But we should get back to Guardians of the Galaxy
Yes.
trailer.
Oh yeah, we're
Yes.
talking about.
So
Oh yeah, that thing.
people are tuning in for
That's
this
right.
for this review are just like, what?
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's it for Rocket.
Don't be sorry. I think I did.
That would
My
be-
fault.
That would be my prediction.
Say again. You think he's
My
gonna die?
prediction, yeah, that's it for Rocket.
So yeah, what do you guys think of Adam Warlock?
Who?
I'm interested.
Adam
in,
Warlock.
I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with him because I really only know him through being connected to the Infinity Gauntlet series. So
Mm-hmm.
the fact
Oh.
that that's already played out, it's odd to me because I don't really know what else they're going to do with Adam Warlock. I was never really into his character, but I know.
I don't know a lot about him.
I don't know anything about him.
I think it's interesting. I
I
like.
know who you're talking about, right?
I'm interested in the character who's the actor that's playing him.
Yeah, he's. It's going to be a very different role than the stuff I've seen that kid in before.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
curious about that myself. I saw the images of him, in the makeup and everything.
Right.
Looks cool.
What about Groot? Groot looks like I think Groot might be. Is he the same or actually I think he's more grown up in the movie.
Well, he was all jacked up in the holiday special. Swole.
Yeah,
Groot, they're
he's
calling him.
like swole.
It's pretty awesome.
Swole
As
Groot.
soon as I first saw him, I was like, "Why is Groot's on steroids? What's he doing?"
He's like
Huge.
18. He's been there working out. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So I think that in the next one, I think he gets back to his normal form because I saw one of the fight scenes when when Quill is right back to back with him, and I thought I saw him younger, and then I saw him older. So maybe like a time jump.
Might
Maybe.
be.
They may do the thing like they did in like it's the second one when they started off like a montage or something like that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about? Let's talk about that. How do you like the whole arc of Groot going through all the phases back to?
I love it.
Good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. I was real sad in the first movie when he sacrifices himself. I was like, oh man, but then at the end when you see the little sprout there, I mean, it's freaking hilarious. And Baby Groot was adorable in the second movie. So
Right.
I bought all kinds of Baby Groot shit. Then Baby Yoda showed up and eclipsed that, and I don't know who's gonna be a baby next, but it's all adorable. And yeah, and then
It's all
being an
adorable.
obnoxious teenager, I could relate to that. You know, he's
Right.
on his
It's like, I
little
am Groot.
devices.
It's like, what
I
you
am
say to me? I am Groot.
Naughty kid.
Great.
It's so funny.
No, I think it's a great, and for him to come full circle would be awesome.
Yeah. That's it. It's cool to have him back as like that, huge menacing,
Yeah,
crazy
because
thing.
you only got that in the first movie, you didn't realize
Right.
it, and then you do kind of miss it now, like having
Right.
Groot as an actual like mid-adult participant, albeit without a tremendous amount of dialogue. But
I find it's always good to have in movies. You want that something in a movie that makes you feel a flow or a pace. Sometimes it could be a character that's like hurried or trying to do something, and you're following them, and you're interested in how they're acting, and it's keeping you on pace. Sometimes it's the fact that you're watching the beginning of the Marvel universe, where you know they're going to be together in the future, and that puts you on a pace. You're like, so how does this fit in? And that's a great way to watch a movie because you're already anticipating the next movie and the next movie, and that's why I think Marvel did very well.
Yeah.
And that's why DC has that problem. They keep trying to get on their feet to give you that pacing, they don't get it. And with Groot, I find myself wondering, is Groot going to be older? What's going to happen? There's a little bit of a pace there for me to
Right.
wonder about the future.
for sure.
So, so supposedly Guardians of the Galaxy, it seems like the future is kind of not sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors that there's going to be either a total cast changeover, or a lot of them will be leaving, or you never know what's hype and what's.
They keep
legit.
saying cash changeover. I feel like that'll never happen, and I hope it never does. If the day they do that, they're going to lose me
I
completely.
don't
Like,
mean
keep
I don't
the
think they're
same
going to recast the characters.
characters?
I
Yeah,
think
I
they'll
just-
have a new team of
Right,
Guardians.
people will
and some-
flip in, yeah.
or
It'll
a
be
few of
different.
them will be gone.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, but I know like Dave Bautista has said quite a few times that he's on
Right.
borrowed
He's-
time with
he's
the role.
He
probably
says
the last
he's tired of
movie.
not wearing a
Yeah.
shirt. How long can he not wear a shirt for?
Yeah.
Oh, they could just have Chris Pratt play every character in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
Which would be great.
He's just playing every role.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last Drax movie.
I feel like the
Well,
holiday special was them
yeah.
sneaking out like another performance to everybody. Like
so good. You,
And
were,
it was-
you were spot on with that.
it was great. Did you
Spot
watch the
on.
holiday special?
I was supposed to watch it this weekend, but
You can blame it on the wife.
Huh?
You can blame it on the wife.
Yeah,
Wasn't
100%.
available at
Absolutely.
It was my wife. I am Groot.
So that's all I'll say. I was supposed to watch it.
That happens to me too. I think Vin or somebody was like, "Why did you watch it?" And I was like, I can only watch so many things.
Yeah. It's only so many hours in a day. I even watched the Lindsay Lohan thing.
Oh
Thanks
my
for
God!
recommending it. Thanks for
Wait,
recommending it.
Please,
Okay,
okay.
recommendation.
Okay.
You're like, wow.
The next topic right now is the Lindsay Lohan
Falling for
wannabe
Christmas?
Hallmark Christmas movie
Yes.
on Netflix. I'm dying to hear your review of this.
Well,
Please.
it's a little spotty because I watched it over the course of 3 separate nights of falling asleep in bed.
That's how I watched it. Go ahead.
with the
But-
kids, right?
The ending was
I don't want to hear the ending. I want to hear about all your emotions from the beginning to the end.
I didn't have very, very sleepy emotions. That was about it. I really, yeah, it was like Overboard very much.
It was definitely like a remake of Overboard in a
which has
Christmas
been
way.
done in other capacities.
Now, does Colleen, your wife, make you watch Hallmark movies?
No, I make myself watch them, and she yells at me about them and calls me.
Oh,
a
so you want to watch Hallmark movies?
I love Hallmark.
Okay,
movies.
okay.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's even better. It's better because that's what I wanted to get to, but this is even more better. So, Hallmark movies.
Love them.
So, didn't you feel like this was a poor comparison shadow of a Hallmark movie? Don't say it was good.
It was definitely on that. Hallmark.
You see, they're on the train,
Yeah,
but this
for
train is
sure.
dinky and falling over.
I mean, I've
and
seen-
Hallmark
I've
is doing
seen-
a good job about what they do.
Yes, I've seen better ones. I've probably seen worse ones too. Though it was
Hallmark movies are like Hallmark movies. Like they know how to film their own movies, right?
Yeah, there's a very specific
Right,
formula.
and they do it a certain way, and they do these cheesy things. And you're like, oh, this is so cheesy, but I kind of like that girl, I like where this is going. It's,
Yeah.
you're hooked on. You want to see the ending, but this felt like they're like Hallmark moment. And you're like, no, Lindsay.
Yeah, I especially there was this scene at the end where he can't get his snowmobile started when he's going to go and tell her that he loves her or whatever, and she's engaged to another guy. It's kind of inappropriate, but
Right.
then he hits a sled and a horse, and they just literally go on a sled and horse through to the town to go tell her that he loves her. I was like, that's even a stretch for Hallmark. I think.
Wasn't the Santa Claus really creepy?
I didn't understand that guy. I don't remember him in the beginning of the movie.
Talk about formidable presence, like in Willow, the guy from Willow. Like he was like odd formidable presence. He was like.
It was.
He was like so.
I don't know why that character was even in the movie.
I know he was so like. I want to use the word on. He was so on. Like in scenes, I felt like this guy is so creepy. Like he's just like they like who do you want to be Santa? Like this guy. Like, just like,
It was totally an unnecessary.
you want like
to
Santa
have.
Claus that makes you feel good, like Miracle 34th Street. We just watched it the other day. Like that's it's a Santa Claus, like quintessential Santa Claus. He feels like Santa, blah. And like this guy was supposed to be like the obvious hidden secret real Santa.
Yeah.
But like he had these eyes that were like crazy. Every time he came on his screen, it felt like the Grim Reaper is on screen. I was like,
Wow.
get away from him.
I don't want that guy sneaking around my house.
And he
with
gives him
presents.
he gave him a very expensive sled. That sled was $14,000. He says.
Oh,
and
is
then
he the one that gives him the sled?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
see, I
Lou.
didn't catch the guy. It's the problem.
It's $14,000 that sled,
Wow.
and it shows up in that guy's house.
Better drive you
What
across
is this
town.
movie?
I mean, $14,000 for a sled.
Santa Claus is telling someone I'm giving you a
better have-
$14,000
It better
sled.
have heated seats and lots of horsepower.
Santa's price dropping now.
I don't.
What's his motivation
It really.
behind that?
It was weird for me when they said the price of the sled. I feel like I shouldn't know the price.
No,
But then I knew the
why?
price,
Why
and
would
now I've
Santa-
forever changed.
Why would Santa ever tell someone the price of the gift that he's giving them?
Well, no, because they go somewhere and he see the sled and he goes, "That sled's $14,000," and they was like, "Oh, it's too expensive." But and then the sled shows up later on. You're like, "Okay, creepy Santa came to $14,000." But the fact that they knew how much it cost
in
really
the-
kind of ruined it for me.
Yes. Wow.
And there's also so there's a whole vibe about the boyfriend of Lindsay Lohan being gay.
There was, definitely a vibe of that. From
Right.
That guy.
So in the end, it ends for him
and
ending
he
up with a
seems
guy.
to take on the
and
assistant.
he is
like,
gay.
He literally just got dumped by his fiance, and then he's just like, "Yeah, this dude has been carrying my coat
Right.
the whole movie. Hop in the limo."
Right. So
Whoa.
that's that arc is there for whatever reason. Fine, that's there. But like during the movie, that guy Ralph, the trapper,
Which one's Ralph?
the trapper.
Tom
In the middle of the woods, the trapper Ralph. No one cares about this movie at all. The trapper
I
Ralph.
can't believe you
there
care
was-
so much
there
about
were-
it.
I care because I'm so upset about it. So the trapper Ralph. It seemed like they were going to do like some sort of like relationship, like he's going to end up with Ralph. That would have been a good story because it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and then he.
But then they just say goodbye, and I'm like, what happened to Ralph?
he's still in the woods.
The only thing I wanted to see in that whole show was him and Ralph get together, and it didn't happen.
That was the payoff you were waiting
I
for.
was waiting for Ralph. So that's it. Go hate watch this movie.
Wow.
Let me know what you think.
No.
Just no way. Just like don't pull some Hallmark wannabe crap because they did that, and there's another movie. It's British, and it's about this father with too many kids, and they go to a farm, and we put it on, and after a while, I said, if this is crappy like the Lindsay Lohan movie, I'm gonna be very upset. And she's like, well, let's see what happens. We put it on. 5 minutes, I couldn't stand watching it, and I'm like, what is Netflix doing?
Wait a second.
It's terrible.
You're telling me you're just like scrolling through Netflix looking for like cheesy Hallmark Christmas
No,
movies?
no, I'm
I
not
think
doing
he's
that.
Like a Hallmark
And we gave you
movie
all these
police.
recommendations last week. Why don't you watch Fat Man? Why don't you watch 8-Bit Christmas?
I brought up Acre for Christmas, my wife, and she wanted to watch something else, and we turned on. Here's what happened.
Teresa.
This is what happened. I said we can watch it. She said yes, let's watch that. But then here's what happens. I turn on Netflix, and then Netflix has the power of the 10
yeah.
TV shows. And she's like, oh, what's that? And so I go, it's Lindsay Lohan. And I'm like, oh, Lindsay Lohan. Okay. Let's try it. So we put it on, never watched it, and all I can keep saying, I go, this is like a crappy Hallmark movie. And then she wanted to watch something else, and again, Netflix is always right there. It's on the remote. The button's right there. It's so easy.
That is
They-
with the
they-
built-in button.
Oh, yeah.
They take over your life. And you can't watch closing credits on Netflix because like if
Right.
you like this movie, you'll like these 3 movies.
Right,
and
right.
you watch
You can
credits
just
for
hit the
10
yeah.
seconds,
button, no.
but you have to act.
Right.
You have to
can't-
hit stuff,
You can't
yeah.
you can't
Right.
passively
Right,
just
you can't
do stuff
passively just watch
because
Right.
then
the
Netflix
credits.
consumes
And
your
by the
But
way-
entire
that's
life.
true on almost every service.
Yeah,
not
that
for
is
nothing.
true, yeah.
If
Absolutely.
you want to watch the credits of any show,
Right,
you have
no,
to hit a
they-
button
they-
now.
You have to make
Go
a
through it.
decision and act. to
Right, you have
watch.
to. You have
And
to
I
hit
enjoy
a button.
and I enjoy sitting through the.
There also used to be the top 10. Excuse me, the top 10 for Netflix. Now the top 10 for TV shows, and now the top 10 for movies. I'm like, they're just killing it. But they're putting crappy Christmas movies on it. They're terrible, and it makes me mad. I don't know why I care so
You're
much.
watching them.
You're
The
like
Lindsay
a
Teresa
Lohan-
wants to watch them all. So
Christmas
there's a
movie
farm
police
and
cop.
kids. Christmas.
In Falling for Christmas, they don't do that because there's an outtake reel with bloopers during the post credits.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
which
well,
was very charming. I thought
That makes me enjoy that. Well,
It's nice.
enjoy the idea of that movie.
It's
a little
nice.
bit
It
more.
looked like Lindsay and her castmates had a lot of laughs.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, they put that in the end. But I know I watched that with the lenses on of like, does anyone like what they were doing in this movie? And they had a good time.
Yeah.
Sure, they did.
I didn't have a good time.
Hopefully, you would hope so.
Yes.
I was not a part of those blooper reels.
The blooper reel, it was me
I
watching the
never knew
movie.
You were so passionate about such kinds of movies.
I don't know.
Do me a favor.
I don't know why.
Do me a favor. Just
Watch 8-Bit.
just resist the Netflix recommendations because now you're in their queue. They have your
They have
whatever,
your
your
DNA.
preferences. Yes,
because
they have
you
your
watched
DNA.
Falling for Christmas, it's going to
That's
recommend
right.
you. They're going to
You're
get you.
gonna
With
Because you love the
Deeper-
Lindsay Lohan
Yes!
Christmas. No, I did
they're
not.
going to get you with the
Exactly.
Freddie Prinze one next for sure.
The preview's always loud.
No,
like when
I don't like
you're
Freddie Prinze at all.
Scrolling around, and it like plays
Don't
something
like him.
immediately instead of just like
Don't like him at all.
you don't get a chance to like look at a title without the thing starting.
Right.
Like the episode
Without
just
the, without
starts.
the trailer.
I know.
playing
I've been like
immediately.
keeping it on mute lately.
It's unbearable.
Like hit the mute button. I'll navigate. I'll browse Netflix.
Right, you have to put it on
whatever.
mute because they
Gotta mute it, 'cause
they keep putting you into
And
stuff
you
quickly.
Get sucked in, you
Yeah.
know, and then you see the same one like 3 times.
This is basically our 10-minute review on Netflix.
yes. Listen, watch 8-Bit Christmas. Resist the Netflix
I will watch it.
downward spiral.
I will
Watch
watch it.
Fat Man.
We watched Miracle on 34th Street, the original 1947
Nice.
version, and I
Very
enjoyed
nice.
it.
Good job.
It was great.
You would. I
It's a
think you
classic.
specifically would enjoy Fat Man.
Yeah, I've heard about it a couple of years ago when it came out.
Yeah.
I know it's on one of my streaming services. I have like 5 streaming services, like,
It's on
like everyone
Peacock,
else.
I believe.
Okay, well, I have that. So
Let's
Yeah.
talk. Let's talk about next topic: Indiana Jones trailer.
oh my god,
Da-
this whole
da-
show is tailor made for
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah, I know.
What are we
it's-
gonna-
it's-
what are we
this
going to
is-
talk about
this is-
next?
this
Back
is
to the
Dan's-
Future?
Yes.
Come on.
This is Dan's age right now. He's loving
Got
it.
a shirt on and everything.
He got it at the same day. He had,
the
he had an Indiana Jones trailer, and he had a Willow,
Willow
at the
show.
same time. Dan's
I
like,
know. I didn't realize.
I am a golden god.
I didn't realize the Indiana Jones trailer had come out. I had to check it when I first got here before.
So
Yeah.
I like it. I love Indiana Jones. Obviously, I can't say I love as much as you because you just I can't imagine a world where I love it as much as you because you just love it and know more about it than I do. I don't like the name Dial of Destiny.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
neither.
like a dial. I feel like
I thought that was a joke name when I first saw that. I was like, "What is this? An Onion article or something?" Why the hell is it
Yeah,
called
I mean,
Dial
The
of
they-
Destiny?
word dial
they
is so
have-
old-fashioned. Like you just
Yeah.
think of dialing a phone, and it's like, gosh.
and they have
it's
right.
so
That's the problem.
1990. What am I dialing? What are you talking about?
And
dialing?
there's a dial, in like artifacts and things like that. That
Right.
is a thing, but
Sundial.
like,
It's probably that
Right.
kind of dial.
but like
probably,
Sure it
but
is.
I don't get past the word
it's a
dial
negative
a phone.
Connotation.
It could have been
Definitely.
anything.
Think of a
Negative.
bar of soap.
Yes, bar of soap. So
Soap of
It-
Destiny.
It did have very the thing that I immediately thought of when I was talking about the title was that it was the same thing. I was like, is this real? Dial of Destiny? I got Phantom Menace vibes. If you remember when
yeah.
the title of Phantom Menace leaked,
People
everyone
were
was like,
like,
"There's
"Is this
no
real?
way.
This
There's
can't
no
be
way
real."
Yes,
this
yes.
is real." Like that's kind
Yeah,
of like
that's it.
immediately where my mind went to.
so
Doesn't bother me.
what did you think about the trailer? Oh no,
No.
I heard a lot in that.
First,
Never.
Can we play that side back?
Never a positive thing coming when someone
That's like someone says, Lou, do you love me?
well,
it's-
Pause.
There was a lot in the trailer because I have
There was a lot.
like I have my expectations and my hope for what
Right.
like I hope the movie is going to be.
We're always happy when he fights Nazis.
Yeah. And
We are.
I'll say the trailer did not make me feel like I'm not going to see what I'm hoping and expecting this movie to be. So like
Right.
what I want it to be, especially because James Mangold is directing it and he directed Logan and
He
like
does some very good movies. some
yeah.
movies.
Yep.
So like
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, so I'm glad about that. And like if you saw Logan, it's about old man Wolverine kind of like taking a look, being very introspective and saying like, hey,
That makes me think they're just gonna. Obviously, they're ending the franchise, but now it really makes me feel like it's final.
it
putting
could
him out
be.
there.
It could be. But like what I'm really looking for, and I think I've said this like a dozen times on the show, is that like with this movie, like I want it to be like an old, introspective Indy. And when he's talking to Sala, and he says like, "Oh, those days are gone and past." Like what I want is for Indy to like kind of acknowledge the fact that he was always very hesitant to become a family man, and he hurt a lot of people in doing that.
Right.
Looking back, like there's no Marion in the trailer, which is the first thing that jumped out at me. So
Right.
like what I'm thinking is that he can kind of like get to that stage of introspection and that stage of regret if Marion's not around anymore. So like if they got married in Crystal Skull and maybe like she passed away really quickly.
Let him almost do it again, then go back to Marion by the end of the movie.
No, like let him be let him be regretful. If he's with Marion and he's happy, really no reason for him to be regretful. But if they got married and he didn't really spend much time with her because of all the time he wasted over the years, then that gives him an opportunity to say, I wasted a lot of time I probably shouldn't have. At the end of Temple of Doom, like put yourself in the shoes of Short Round, right?
Right.
They're leaving Delhi. He has no parents. He's leaving Delhi after going on this huge adventure and saving Indy's life. He's probably thinking, got a new mom and dad. We're going back to America.
Right.
We're going to be a family
Oh
together.
my God, you're right.
Yeah, but by the time Last Crusade comes, or, since it was a prequel in Raiders, like there's no mention of Willie, no mention of Short Round. So like especially since what we learned about his father in Last Crusade,
Right.
like Grail lore was his hobby, but Mom left because you were so enamored with the Grail.
Right.
So like he's those traits that he hated about his father, I think he's going to see in himself. So there's got to be like what I want to see in this movie is that he's kind of looking back on his life and coming to terms with the fact that he did hurt a lot of people because he's running around the globe. But obviously at the end of the movie, he has to realize that he did it for he sacrificed his own life of living a satisfying family life in order to save the world on more than one occasion.
Right.
And going back to Dial is that and seeing all the footage from the trailer of the de-aged Indy.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
I saw a couple things where I was looking at the DH stuff, and it didn't bother me at all. I thought it looked good.
I thought it looked great.
Yeah.
It does
Especially
look good.
considering it's probably not a finished product. This is just the first trailer that we're seeing.
I think they
the movie's gonna
finally
look fantastic.
I think they finally got the kids that are like, ha ha ha, that's what you did, and then they do it better online. And then I heard they Lucasfilm, they start hiring those kids.
Yeah.
Yes, hire them because
not?
they're way better than what you're doing in
Yeah.
here. I remember for The Irishman. The Irishman came out. You look at it and you're like, oh, okay. And then someone in 3 weeks later was like, yeah, here's The Irishman a lot better. And what'd you spend on it? And you're like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, big time.
Like literally, just put out a thing
Yeah.
and say, who
Well,
can do this better? Who wants the job?
that
Give that
happened to
job to the person who
everybody.
does it.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did.
Yeah, and they
Disney-
did, and now they're finally
Lucasfilm
catching up.
Got that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People now.
Yeah.
And
They
they
do.
also did it with building R2D2. They got the clubs to actually build it for fun.
That's true.
And and they're on board for that. And I'm like,
Right.
great, you're doing the right thing.
That's the
what
right people to get.
Right.
Yeah.
You want who doesn't want a passionate employee working on something that
Absolutely.
they love to do as much as you do? It's
Absolutely.
Yeah, but with the de-aging, I read online that the dial may be a reference to this artifact or whatever called the Archimera, I think it's called, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and it's a time-traveling device. So if Indy gets this device and he's time-traveling, that kind of feeds into
That makes
my
sense.
theory
Interesting.
that he's
Jason Spector just said, I hope they
quite
don't do
literally going to be facing his past self in some way, shape, or form.
Jason Spector just said, I hope they don't do a Steve Rogers and go back in time and live happily ever after. But that could be.
I have my theory on how I would end the movie.
Tell us.
The Act 3 comes, and he's at this moment of crushing self-doubt. His dad's gone. Who's going to be there to tell him, no, Indy, you led a good life. You're a good guy. Not dad. His mom.
Oh,
He has to. I think
that we're gonna see
Mutt.
I would. Mutt. I would love for him to see
Shia
his,
LaBeouf shows
Yeah.
up. That's what I want.
I would love for him to see to have a very dramatic scene with his mom.
He
on her
goes,
deathbed.
do it!
Wow.
Do it!
Who do you think
What?
should play? Who do
Shut-
you think? Who do you think should play his mom?
You don't know those
Any
videos?
ideas?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea.
Do we know anything about Indiana Jones's mom?
Her name was Anna, I believe, and no, but it just that Henry Sr. was so buried in researching the Grail that he became obsessed with it. Didn't pay much attention to the family, and she left because.
You know what? You know what? You're right. That's a good point. That to have the mom come into phase and kind of balance him out before you end the character. But like you also, I guess you can't really. It's almost like you're gonna blame James Bond for being with a lot of women. I guess it goes with the job, the territory. But the fact that they want to start a movie, and they don't want to bring the next girl on board because she's not the main character, and they want you to feel like there's possibility that this could be the one and this could be the one. So you want that to happen every single time. So like for Indiana Jones, I don't think they weren't thinking about like he's a terrible family man. Obviously that came and they went with it, and that's great. It's good storyline. But like, what are you going to do? So short is when you talk about how Short Round left behind, you're like they're just doing another movie.
Yeah, right.
But it's when you put them together, you're like he's terrible.
Yes.
You love that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he now?
Right, where did he go?
So it's tough. It's tough on Indy.
It is.
I guess
and I think you really get that sense in Raiders when you see how annoyed Marion is with him, and you really get the sense that he's kind of like carrying that in Last Crusade. I thought we learned in Last Crusade that Anna didn't leave; she got sick and hid her illness from Indy's dad. I don't remember that, Jason.
Maybe.
I think there was like a line or two lines in it during when he's speaking to his father.
No, the real part that I remember is where they're on the motorcycle and they just got away from the Nazis and
Oh, the last one.
In Last Crusade.
Oh, okay.
That's
There is a moment where they talk about
yeah. And
that era.
Indy wants to go rescue Marcus because he's been captured, but
Right.
Henry says no, we have to go back to Berlin to get
the
my
book.
diary.
My book is in Berlin.
Right. And he said, yeah. You want me to go back to Berlin, the Lion's Den?
Speaking of James Bond.
J. Bond. Book. My book.
And he says, like, this Grail obsession, this Grail thing was an obsession. I never understood it. I
Right.
never understood it.
And neither did Mom.
Neither did Mom.
Right.
And he says, no, she understood only too well.
Right.
And that's why she left, because she knew exactly what she was dealing with.
Right.
Indiana Jones fandom says she died of scarlet fever in 1912 at the age of 34.
Is that right?
Interesting.
What's is there any source on that, Serenfora? Because I remember like around the time of when Crystal Skull came out, there was a lot of a lot of extraneous stuff came out, like Indiana Jones's diary and like a fan book of like like extended universe type stuff. I'm not sure how much that's considered to be canon, but if I'm wrong and she is considered to be long gone, well,
So
I guess that kind of blows that out of the water.
let's wrap this up. What do you think for Indiana Jones? What do you expect the movie to be? How excited are you?
It's hard to know what to expect. What I would like is another.
Like, how good do you expect it to be?
I don't know. I feel so burned by the Crystal Skull that like I don't know.
Have you watched it again?
Not in a long time. I think I watched it.
That's what Dad would say.
I think I watched it maybe
You gotta watch it again.
twice, like total. I saw it.
It's like Phantom Menace. Phantom
And
Menace.
then I watched. What about Phantom?
You gotta rewatch it years
that's
later because it ages
true.
well.
Yes, it does. Yes, although it's got a lot of issues at the same time, and I love the prequels, but they have a lot of issues.
Yes, it has issues.
But Indiana Jones, I hope it's going to be good. All this talk about, the characters and the backstory, and it's like, that's great, but at the end of the day, like, I'd rather see a good Indiana Jones movie, which I'm putting in quotes to be like, sort of like a James Bond movie, like we mentioned, James Bond movies are basically formulaic.
Right.
You basically know there's a good guy, there's bad guys, there's going to be action, stuff like that. That's what I want from an Indiana Jones movie. I feel like I don't care so much about all the other stuff. I just hope it's like a good movie that's entertaining to watch. And for me, like, I don't know. I grew up with the first three, I feel like, and like those will always be the most special to me. So like whatever comes now, it's like, okay, like maybe I like it, maybe I won't, but I'm not like I'm not super hung up on it, and it's just
It was weird because
I don't know.
Crystal Skull it did really throw me for a loop, and I don't know why. Like like with Aliens, it just there's no reason it should have thrown me for a loop, but it did because it wasn't what I expected. Like many of the new Star Wars movies, because it wasn't what we expected, you freak out. Your first watch is terrible. So that's what happened
Didn't
to
happen
me.
to me as much with Star Wars though. Like I enjoyed those.
Star Wars, I have to.
initially.
My first watch,
maybe even more than now.
it's not okay.
Yeah.
never
See, like
good.
the sequels, I think I liked more seeing them in the movie, like the first watch, than I did.
Oh, my second watch is like
Subsequently.
relax. Okay. I have to because I have to. What do you think, Lou?
I'm on a similar page to Damien. I think that I like the Indiana Jones movies. I'm not a huge hardcore nut for them. I always loved the first two growing up. Last Crusade, I remember seeing it in the theater, and I liked it. I know a lot of people think it's better than Temple. I always liked Last Crusade. I haven't watched it as many times as I watched those original two, though, because I watched them so much. I think we had them on
Crusade is
VHS
so good.
as a kid. And Crystal Skull, yeah, I thought it was. I don't think it was not an entertaining movie, and it didn't have the sentimental place in my heart that it has for Dan. So I don't like Shia LaBeouf, generally speaking, so his presence was irksome. But Marion being back and Karen Allen, I loved that part of it.
Yep.
So
Right.
that was a big plus for me about that movie. And I didn't think it was a bad movie. I thought it was an entertaining enough movie. It didn't
Right.
piss me off the way it does with some, when you're really like passionate about something as fans, people get a little carried away sometimes. But,
Shia LaBeouf was in that tank movie, Fury.
yeah.
And
Was it?
Yeah, with Brad Pitt, and
Yeah.
I thought he was good, and I liked him. That's fine, and him as an actor is fine. He's a good actor, obviously.
He's been very good in some things.
But they keep throwing him in these movies to make him fit. Like, oh, just throw him in there, and that's what they were doing for a while. And I was just like, stop it.
Yeah.
And that's my problem is. And when I was in that mode of like, stop doing that, and then Indiana Jones came out, I'm like, there's this kid again.
There he
He
is
doesn't
again.
belong to be in
Right.
here.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were putting him in a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And during that era.
Oh,
And
the
it seemed-
Transformers movies drove me crazy.
It
Because
seemed
Yes.
like he was in a lot of
And Spielberg
things.
is like, he's the next greatest. I was like, stop
Right.
it, Spielberg.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That was a bad moment.
That's what it was.
Spielberg.
But in Fury, I thought he was great. Something else I watched into him, I thought he was good. It's just,
he was very young in the movie I, Robot with Will Smith. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
He was really cool in that movie, Shia LaBeouf.
I like
like,
that
like
movie.
a
I don't
supporting
remember him.
role.
Alex Proyas, I believe.
Yeah, Alex
directed.
Proyas movie, yeah.
I like that movie.
I don't remember his part in the movie at
It
all.
wasn't a huge part. He was like a kid from the neighborhood, but he's in
Yeah.
a bunch of scenes,
Yeah.
and he was really cool
Solid.
in it. It was
He's
like the
solid
obnoxious,
character,
yeah.
It's good.
Holes is a good movie.
I never seen
Yes.
Holes.
Oh, Holes is very good.
That is a good.
But that's what
movie.
it
He's
is.
good at
It
it, too.
seems like when you're trying to make him stretch and do more because you just think that people are going to like him, that's when he starts failing to me.
Yeah.
And like when you say like, oh, is this good for him? Okay, great, then he'll do fine.
Yeah,
But don't
yeah.
like put him in everything. It's like the Chris Pratt thing. You like
Yes.
that? That's what it is.
Sounds like it's
Chris
a very-
Chris Pratt. Your Chris Pratt is my Shia LaBeouf.
The Indiana Jones thing that was that's tough,
Yes.
a tough run for him too, because it's like anybody would have been probably
Anyone would take
perceived
anybody.
poorly in that.
Anybody. I'd
in
take
that
Pauly Shore.
environment. I would have loved to see that.
Pauly Shore. Whatever the gross was with that movie would have been double. Hey, Indiana Jones,
Going
buddy.
full weasel mode.
I would definitely take Pauly Shore. The one thing it's a good takeaway from Crystal Skull was I don't think I think you didn't like this, but I did. I liked how they made Indiana Jones kind of like a master.
Yeah. He
Right.
leveled up.
He leveled to like a master when the guy was like shooting the stuff at him, the darts, they try to get him. He's like, just stay here. And he's walking around, he's showing up, he's doing stuff. And I'm like, he's like a kung fu master, but like in the archaeology realm. And that's,
Right.
it's just, he knows exactly what to do. And I thought that was amazing. And I'm like, that's where he should be at this
Yeah.
point. Because he's not going to beat them with his fists anymore. Maybe he's got it's Harrison Ford. He's got the Harrison Ford punch
You know
power.
he's gonna have one good punch at least.
Right, there's a couple
Gotta
good
have
punches in there.
one good one.
But like, I just thought that was great. You didn't agree, right?
No, I didn't, because so much of the Indiana Jones character is like in Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't know, I'm making this up as I go.
Right.
You
But
know?
but after a while you keep making it up. It's like Han Solo. You keep making it up after a while. You are good at things.
Yeah, you can only save the world so
Yeah.
many times before you pick up a skill.
Right.
Right.
Indiana Jones can pick up his skill, can't he?
Yeah,
skill
I
is
think he's gotta
improvisation.
level up because the young Indy like takes the punch. Young Indy doesn't,
Old Indy knows.
Yeah.
Right, the old Indy doesn't want to get punched like
Young Indy
anymore.
gets
He doesn't-
beat up.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Right.
Young Indy can handle
Does.
that, but old Indy's gonna have to be a little smarter because he can't take as many punches. He's gonna have to be a little. That's how I
Right.
see it. He's
Yeah.
got to be a little leveled up.
Right.
I agree with that. For the character, I think he should be a little more. Even though, yes, it is part of it seems like it's part of the core of his character that, especially that he's put into situations that seem almost, insurmountable and sort of like, that he has to kind of find his way out of in a unique way because he's just. Yeah, exactly. Luck.
Yeah.
There you go. That plays into it.
Can you please address he doesn't believe in magic line? We're talking about Han Solo? Because Han Solo says that about
No,
the Force.
in the trailer, he says that
Yeah.
I don't believe in magic.
In this
Indiana
one?
Jones. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no. Is there magic in this one? Oh, that's what it is.
I mean,
It's
that's
magic.
every movie.
Aliens? Magic.
Magic's the next,
He doesn't believe in Willow for sure. Sucks as a sorcerer.
He's like,
He thinks
we're
Willow
getting out of
sucks.
here. It's going to be a fellowship. I don't believe in Gandalf. Or the
No,
Force.
he's gonna show up as Indy and be like, "It's all real. Everything. It's all
It's
real.
real.
It all
The
happens."
Jedi. How's my Harrison Ford impression?
Not bad, actually.
Not too bad.
It's all real.
Old Harrison Ford though, not young
I
Harrison.
can't do it. I don't know how to do it, young Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
I can only kind of somewhat do that one. So yeah, I'm excited. I also didn't like his pants in the Crystal Skull. His pants were so.
It was so weird.
What?
I don't know why the pants
had
stood
weird-
out that
Yes,
much.
I'm so.
100%.
I thought you all think I was crazy to say that.
I don't know what
the
it
pants
was about the pants.
because they were so nice
Yes.
and like new.
and like pleated and
right,
like so.
right. This guy's pants should be like
Yeah, he's wearing an old
worn
pair
in.
of khakis.
Right.
That he rolled around in the desert.
gotta
And
You know,
also,
it's weird.
and the last thing is he climbed the boxes in the warehouse like a young spry chicken.
Yeah.
He was like, dun, dun, dun,
Chickens
dun,
climb.
dun, dun, dun. He went up
like-
faster than anyone can do that in the history of climbing boxes. He is how old? He cannot. No, in real life, he'd be like, dun, 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 dun.
I'm not going to see Indiana Jones for real life, you know?
Whatever.
But like, so like a little bit less believable would have been like he got up a few and got tired and went around one. But no, like he was just
But
going
you're
up.
the one who just said he leveled up, right? So come on.
Yes, leveled up in his guile. But his strength should be on a
Not
decline.
physically, Yeah,
So you
come
think
on.
his strength should be going down, but his wisdom should be
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Him
And his-
popping
and
out of
his-
the,
and his
out of the
dex
weeds
is
and blowing
going
into
down,
the thing, oh, that was like, okay, that's where he should be at. But like him climbing a mountain, no.
Come on. But I mean, it has all to do with like the over-the-top nature of the movie too.
When he climbed those boxes, his pants were amazing, and he climbed way too fast.
Pants were perfect.
That's what I took away from that scene.
And he did the Harrison Ford run across the.
Oh man, I love that. Now I just can't. I want to see it all the time. The Harrison Ford, put your stomach first
chest
run.
first run.
Oh, yeah.
Stomach gets there first, then chest arrives, and the rest of the body. Okay, so we were going to do Escape Dungeon. We don't have time. We have 5 minutes left. So in that 5 minutes, we're going to talk about one more thing. We're going to talk about Acolyte, a show I don't know much about. It is Star Wars. And in an age where Star Wars doesn't get a lot of love, you know? Star Wars does not get a lot
Right,
of love
I
at
feel
all.
like we haven't talked about
You know?
that all for
Star
so
Wars,
long.
we need more Star Wars shows and movies because Willow is getting a TV show. Indiana Jones is getting another movie about magic.
Ahsoka. Oh wait, that's Star Wars.
What's,
That's probably going to be out.
what is
before
this Star
one.
Wars thing you're talking about?
The Acolyte. So
It's amazing, all of it. It's true.
Yes, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Star Wars.
Thank God.
Star Wars, kill me.
It's true. All of it. all of the merchandise.
Merchandising. George Lucas. It's true.
All of it.
Oh God.
Jar Jar Binks.
And the figures.
Let's just talk to each other, all of us, in Harrison Ford impressions for the next 10 minutes. Damien, see how it was outside? It was cold. All of it was cold. Dan, are you excited about the Indiana Jones movie?
I'm excited about the whole movie.
All of it?
All of it. All of it.
Okay, Okay, now the two of you be Harrison Ford, and then me and Damien will just be the Emperor. Palpatine. Do it. Yes. Yes. Unlimited power.
Okay.
Okay, it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. Okay, so Acolyte is supposed to be coming out, and Acolyte is, apparently, which is cool, we're getting like a dark side show
Sith
where
story.
it's a Sith story. I think it's coming out the end of next year, 2023, I believe.
Is it?
That could change. And
I heard that it takes place about 100 years before the prequels.
I read the same thing.
right,
Wow.
Yeah.
Right,
So from my understanding, it's a Sith central character. It's gonna be a Sith character, and
Right.
that hopefully it's gonna give insight to like why the Jedi are in such a state when we get to the prequels, because they're really messed up by the prequels. The Jedi, the organization is messed up. They can't use the Force that good. Their numbers are super low. Like they're
can't
a
use
mess.
the Force that good.
No,
Yes,
it's
I heard
not
in the
so
show
obvious
they're
when
like a
you-
uniformed force,
When
the
you
Jedi.
first watch like those prequels, like they say it, but it's not like so obvious that like the Jedi are in like terrible shape by that point. Like it's a real low point, sort of in the history of the Jedi Order.
Well, it's funny because it seems like the highest point, but I guess it is the lowest
No,
point.
it's super low.
In comparison to
They're
the 6
terrible.
movies, it's the highest point.
Because
But
we've only seen them get worse from
I know,
there.
we've only-
Yeah, well,
That's
we,
as good.
we only
Them and the
age rated
Phantom Menace
two
is as
Jedi,
good as
two
it gets.
guys.
I'm sure a lot of fans out there are like, oh, well, we want to see the old Republic stuff where there's like tens of thousands of Jedi and they're like running around like crazy, and tens of thousands of Sith too, probably.
like crazy.
They are. They're running around like crazy, fighting and all kinds of crazy stuff. But everybody was like, seems to be like that there was way more of them and way stronger abilities and all that stuff. But that's like 4,000 years ago in the history of Star Wars lore. This is going to be about 100 years before, so we might even get to see like
Plagueis.
some Plagueis action. That's what I was just going to
That
say.
would be very cool.
Plagueis action.
Plagueis.
Plagueis
yeah.
on Plagueis action.
Wow.
That would be cool because those some of Palpatine's stories in the
Yes.
in the third
Right.
in the
would
Revenge
be
of the
cool
Sith
if we
really create a cool
Right.
lore about
Right,
where
about
the
what
Sith
we might see.
have been
and-
hiding
yeah.
and what they taught each other all these years. This
Right.
could be very intriguing.
They're not going to make it to Sidious because I don't think he's. Well, I mean, it depends how far they go, but
Depends
like,
on how far they go.
but like, it'd be nice if I don't know, they had some sort of connection with Sidious, like anything more than those made by Dark Sidious. Who's Sidious? Who's this guy? Oh, I'm sorry. What's the Jedi
Talking
that?
about,
Cypher
you mean,
Diaz?
Cypher
Diaz.
Cypher
Yeah.
Diaz,
Cypher
yes.
Diaz.
He's a Jedi.
Which was
though.
a real character
Right,
that
right. But
they took his identity basically.
Right,
to
but
go
I
to
didn't-
replace the order.
I didn't like that. Like you had their one lines are like all we know about these characters, and there was just like this one little line that it was just like not enough. Cypher Diaz was like when you left the movie, like who
Like,
is
who is that?
Who is
Yes,
that guy?
absolutely,
Which guy was he?
Well, it was Dooku posing as somebody else.
That's
Right.
what I have always
Right, but they
imagined
never
it was.
say it. They never put it in.
Did you watch Tales of the Jedi?
No, I
You
didn't watch it
should.
yet.
Yeah, you need to do
It
that.
answers a lot.
Get on in
It
there.
answers a lot of questions that Phantom Menace should have answered.
Yeah, once
Really?
you get past the
Yeah.
Ahsoka stuff, that's like not
Yes,
as interesting.
The Dooku episodes are like
The
A+.
Dooku episodes. are
Gotcha.
awesome.
Ahsoka episodes are like.
So to end this for Star Wars, Mandalorian, I heard is coming out in February, March.
March, yeah.
In March this year. When is Ahsoka coming out?
I assumed sometime after that. Like I thought
like
Ahsoka
May.
was like going to be sort of the next thing after Mandalorian and
Right.
stuff.
And then
So,
maybe-
I don't know.
So then maybe at the end of the year we get Acolyte, which would be cool. A
Yeah.
dark side show would be pretty awesome.
Cool.
And it's live action, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So that's it. That is your nerd news for the week, guys. That was a little bit longer, but that was a lot of fun because we had a lot of stuff to go over, and I had a lot of problems to talk about. This is where I get my rage out about Lindsay Lohan and
I was
Christmas
going to say, yeah, the
and
Hallmark movies.
Netflix. We had a lot of Netflix to talk about.
A lot of Netflix.
Yeah.
Can we agree to how about we come to a consensus on a Christmas movie that we'll all watch
Okay.
throughout the week, and then next Monday we'll come and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
What movie?
Pick one.
I don't know.
Let the
what
fans
do you feel
pick it.
like? We could all give our Christmas movie review.
Gremlins.
Love
Christmas,
No,
that's
I
a
don't
Christmas
watch-
movie, isn't it?
I don't want to watch Gremlins.
Gremlins
Die Hard's
too?
a Christmas movie.
I
Gremlins
said
is
it
definitely a
last
Christmas
week on the
movie.
show.
I
brought
agree.
up
Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I'm
I
there.
brought
I
up
I
Die
don't
Hard.
necessarily think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, but Gremlins definitely is.
don't know. In my heart, it's a Christmas movie now. Definitely.
Die Hard, Gremlins. Yeah.
Okay.
How about the
Pixel?
The Pixel?
8-bit.
Jingle
8-bit.
all the way.
8-bit.
We could do 8-bit. I've seen 8-bit Christmas.
I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, we could agree on that if you guys want to do that. But I was going to say, what about the new Christmas Story? Christmas.
I have not checked that out
on
yet,
HBO
but I
Max.
was
I
planning
don't
on
have
checking
HBO
it out.
Max at the present
HBO
moment.
Max.
I don't think.
Okay, we'll figure it out off show, I guess.
All right.
Okay, guys, so that was Nerd News Wrap Up. Thank you for listening to that. And it is time now